it's time for another movie review, and this time it's of the James Bond film No Time to Die, starring Daniel Craig. This is the 25th James Bond film. The movie came out in 2021. I got this as a Christmas present, not this Christmas, but the previous Christmas gone. So you would have seen the unboxing video on my YouTube channel, but obviously I couldn't review it because I hadn't seen it yet. So basically this follows up from the previous Bond film, Spectre, where as you saw in that film, Bond and Madeleine drive off into the sunset, so to speak, and looking like they're gonna be having a happy life. And obviously this Bond film picks up right after that, and as you already would know, things are not gonna go happily ever after for Bond as usual. So it's right, so it's action right from the start, from the beginning of the film to the actual intro sequence. I heard it's one of the longest intros before the actual movie action scenes, before the actual intro kicks in into the title sequence. So it's actually it's one of the longest. I think it's a good 15-20 minutes, but you get tons of action, so that's kind of good. Obviously I'll say that things between Bond and Madeleine don't go as they would hope. Again, I don't want to spoil as to why. We then get a flash forward a few years later, and then Bond is called back into service because of a couple of the villains, Blofeld being one of them, and then another villain played by the actor Rami Malek. Again, what's all stuff to do with him, but there is a connection with one of the characters. So anyway, there was a lot of uproar because obviously one of the female black characters now has the 007 status, or the code name, and there was a lot of hoo-ha over it. Now I do find that a bit silly because because over the years in the different Bond films, there's been different 00s, and obviously some of them have been killed off, and then obviously the 007 number is just a code. It's just a code. It's just a code. So anybody could have that. So it would be different if they were rebooting it, and then that person was being the new James Bond. Well, they wouldn't be called James Bond, but you know, and being it, and then taking that character. I can kind of understand why people would get upset, but it's just the code name, and obviously because Bond's retired. So obviously, as before, he's called back into action. And then obviously, as I said before, there's what I will say about this film, it has tons and tons of action in it. You're going to be spoiled for choice on that. I would say that the actual the cinematography in the movie is absolutely fantastic as well. It's just absolutely breathtaking. It's kind of really amazing how in all the Bond films that they seem to pick the right countries and the right locations, and they always look beautiful on film, even if you know that particular Bond film you may or may not like it. Some of the film was actually filmed in Jamaica, where my parents are from, so that's a callback to Ian Fleming, because obviously he had a house in Jamaica called GoldenEye, which was obviously where they got the title for the Pierce Brosnan movie. So as of all, Bond had to sit there and take on the villains, and there's a twist with him and Madeleine, which again I won't spoil. Maybe some people might already know it. Obviously, Bond has to sit there and then take on the villain as always, and there's a kind of a shock ending which a lot of people didn't like. Now, this comes to my complaints about some of the movie. Certain characters are kind of got rid of in the movie. Now, you could look at it in two ways, in the sense that they're going to reboot the whole James Bond franchise anyway, which is what they're gonna do. So by getting rid of characters, in one way it's kind of not gonna matter because they're all gonna be changed out anyway. But then, but I'm gonna say that for me, it kind of left a little nasty taste in my mouth with what they did to some certain characters and what actually happens at the end of the movie, which a lot of people didn't like because it was a little bit controversial in terms of what happens with the actual ending. And for me, it was kind of the same way as well in terms of what they actually did. But overall, what I will say about the Bond film is that I did really enjoy it. I mean, it's quite long, and as I said before, the action in it is very good. As I said before, the special effects, fight scenes, the cinematography, even the soundtrack and the theme, and the Bond themes in it are really good. It gets a proper intro for once. But yeah, I still overall really enjoyed the movie. Not my favourite ones about all the Daniel Craig ones. My favourite probably still being Casino Royale. Probably it's still my favourite. There was something about that action movie. I would say that even in this movie, it's quite funny in places as well with the actual characters. And yeah, it's going to be a shame that this is Daniel Craig's last Bond movie. I mean, he didn't want to do it anymore, and so now the torch will be passed on to the next actor, and hopefully they do a good job in that movie. But yeah, I didn't want to give away too many spoilers with the movie. That's why I'm being a bit vague with what happens in it, because there are quite a lot of spoilers and everything, so I didn't want to give away too much. But yeah, that's my review of No Time to Die. Maybe in the future I might do a spoiler review of it, but yeah, I mean, I hope people enjoy the actual review. Anyway, I hope people found the video informative, and feel free to share and to like with your friends. If you can give the video a like, it would help people find my channel on YouTube, because of the YouTube algorithms which favour the bigger YouTubers. Also, if you already haven't, please feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I'll speak to you all again soon. So take care, bye for now, and wherever you are in the world, please stay safe.